Hare Krishna. So thank you for coming for this evening program. So we have among us Devinandan Raoji. He by profession is a lawyer. Uh, so he devotes most of his time for his spiritual activities, but he manages his professional work as well. So uh, we can say that when we take excuse that with the working life it is difficult to do the bhakti or devotional service, it's not true. It is in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "I am the time." So if we spend time with Krishna, then the time expands, and we get inspiration from the Prabhuji. He is doing this service or devotional service from age of 16, since more than 3 decades. He travels globally to preach and all over the world, whether it's US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UAE. So, and but perfectly he manages his work as well. So we should take inspirations from him and try to spend some time with Krishna. His Grace Devinandan Prabhuji ki
Jai!
Thank you very much, Advaita Prabhu. Thank you very much to all the devotees. Very nice to see all of you today, and so happy that you've come here for a very important time of the year. This is known as Kartik Mas, you all know that. And I want to thank, very much Achintya Janvi Mataji and Archana Mataji for getting their friends, I believe, and then their friends come and their husbands will also come, I think. That's how it normally is actually in our tradition. Our acharyas say, that by nature, women are by nature very much more pious and they have so much more faith in Krishna. But for men to have faith, it takes a bit more time. They tend to say that they are very busy with everything else. They always feel that, that let the ladies pray, we have to work. But we don't realize that it is everyone's duty to actually pray to Krishna. It is our swadharma. It is our parodharma. It is our supreme duty to pray to Krishna. Why? Because Ishvaraha sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati. Krishna is in the heart of everyone. If he's in the heart of everyone, therefore everybody belongs to Krishna. It is stated so nicely in the pages of Bhagavatam that Krishna is the start of everything. That's why in Brahma Samhita, Krishna is known as Sarva Karana Karanam. That means he is the reason, he is the cause of all causes. So whatever that we are today, it is because we have come from Krishna. So it's very important for us to understand that point. And therefore, as Prabhu said, it becomes our duty to put aside time for Krishna. That is very important. Please come, Matajis, you can sit here also. Prabhu, you can also come forward, please. So you find that it is our duty to actually remember Krishna because we are all coming from Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mattaha sarvam pravartate. Krishna says, I am the origin of all material and spiritual worlds. Therefore, whatever we are here actually because of Krishna. That is why spending time with Krishna is not something which should be surprising. Spending time, putting aside some time for Krishna is actually our duty. It is part of our relationship. If you are all parents, can you say that I don't have time for my children because I have to work very hard in the day? We won't say that, because the reason why we work hard is because we are serving our children. It is our duty to serve them. And we will never think that, I should not spend time with my children. I just give birth to them, then they should do their own things. You will never say that. So Krishna is our father. He is the person from whom we have come. And therefore, Krishna is always ready to spend time with us. Unfortunately, as children, sometimes we forget Krishna. I'm sure when we were growing up, when we were young, like this little girl here, our whole life will be around our parents. We won't go very far. She will walk here and there, but she will come back. But when we grow a bit older, when we're in teenage years, then we start thinking that we don't need our parents so much, so we move a little away. And then later when we grow up, we have our own life, then parents are there. But we don't have to see them all the time. So even in material world, we behave that way. But it is not like that in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, everyone's life is around Krishna. That is what the gopis were doing in Vrindavan Dham. That is what Yashoda Mata was doing in Vrindavan Dham. And that is why today we have come together. Because in this month, this is the Kartik Mass. And Diwali has just passed. So 2 weeks after and 2 weeks before Diwali, the whole month is very auspicious. And why is it auspicious? Because this is the month when we remember one particular Leela, one pastime of Krishna. And that is the pastime of Krishna being bound by the ropes of Mother Yashoda. So in Vrindavan Dham, Mother Yashoda, you know, is the mother of Krishna. And every day, her life revolved around Krishna. And she showed us by her life how we should put Krishna in the center of whatever we do. We may have families, we may have obligations, we may have duties. But whatever that we start, we should start with Krishna. And whatever that we do, we should put Krishna in the center. That is Krishna consciousness. So Mother Yashoda woke up on the morning of Diwali, on the day of Diwali, and she dressed up very nicely in a yellow and saffron sari. She wore malati flowers on her hair, and she looked very nice. But she was all completely concentrated on what she should do to serve Krishna on that day. Very often when we are busy on Diwali day, it's very hard for us to remember Krishna. We may go to temple for a while, and then we have so many other engagements. But Mother Yashoda started her day by remembering Krishna. So what did she do? She decided that she wanted to churn some butter for Krishna. And you all know that Mother Yashoda had hundreds of maidservants. She could easily have asked a maidservant to churn butter, but it would not be the same, Prabhus and Matajis. It's not the same. When we want to perform devotional service for Krishna, no one can perform it for us. We have to perform the devotional service. Isn't it true? You cannot say today that I'm not coming for the program. You can't turn to Matajis and say, I won't come for the program, but I'm sending my representative to come for the program. It won't be the same. You are coming to the program. Therefore, you must make the effort. So Yashoda Mata recognized that one important principle of devotional service, that our relationship with Krishna is one-to-one. It is personal. You cannot expect someone else to do all the hard work of praying for you. Devotees pray for each other, but ultimately we have to perform the devotional service. It's very important. So Mother Yashoda churned butter, and it was a very difficult task. But she was very peaceful and happy because all the time, even while churning butter, even while performing a material activity, she was spiritually conscious of Krishna. This is the second point. The second point in our devotional service is, we may perform an activity that looks very material. For example, we are in a hall, we are all seated, and we are hearing someone speak. This is actually a material activity in the sense that we do this all the time. Everywhere we go, we do this. But the topic today is spiritual. And the deities today are spiritual. Therefore, whatever that we are speaking is different from what we think. It is not material. It is not matter. This is a very important point. So, Mother Yashoda taught us how even while performing our duties as mothers, as fathers, whatever that we have to do, if we do it by praying to Krishna first, by saying, Krishna, let me offer this service to you. I am taking care of my children, but I am taking care of them because you have given them to me. It is my duty as a mother, so I am taking care of them. But I offer all my services at your lotus feet. Then whatever that we do is being offered to Krishna. And it has no karma. Mother Yashoda's activities in Vrindavan and all the gopis' activities in Vrindavan, Bhagavatam tells us they were free of karma. Every activity that we do here without Krishna is going to implicate us in karma. And you all know the law of karma, isn't it? When an arrow is shot in the form of an action, it will find its target in the form of a reaction. That is the law of karma. You may have shot an arrow 2 lives ago, but the arrow will find a target even if it's 2 lives later. No one can escape karma. But those who perform devotional service, that service is transformationally spiritual, and therefore it does not attract karma. Today, whatever prasadam that you're going to eat, we don't even call it eating prasadam. We say we honor prasad, because prasad means mercy of Krishna. Whatever food that is cooked today and being given to you has been offered to Krishna first, not to you. Therefore, because Krishna is first, whatever that comes back from Krishna, it is prasad. So when Mother Yashoda churned the butter, that butter actually was becoming prasad because it was being offered to Krishna and Krishna was accepting it because of her love for him. This is a very important point. So as she was churning, she was not thinking of what should I do later, what should I do after that. Very often that happens to us when we sit down to pray, isn't it? Whenever we are sitting down to chant Krishna's names, or we just sit down for a religious or spiritual function, very often we use that time, our mind is running everywhere else. So we may be in 13 Cuff Road, but our mind may be already somewhere now. After this I have to do this, after that I have to do this, Saturday morning I have to do that. And in all that, Krishna is forgotten. He's forgotten. In fact, many devotees will tell you the challenge to remember Krishna is actually the challenge to forget Maya. That is the challenge. And so Mother Yashoda kept remembering Krishna. She remembered Krishna so nicely by just chanting his names. Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. She just chanted Krishna's names. And that's what we did for 5 minutes before we started the program. We just chanted Krishna's names. You know, Bilva Mangal Thakur, he sings so nicely this beautiful bhajan. It's not a bhajan, it's a shloka actually. Yashodaya Gadamulu Kalena Gokanta Pashena Nibadyamanam Rurodamandam Navanita Bhoji Govinda Damo Daramadaveti Niganjane Kankanake Lilolam Gopi Grihitva Navanita Golam Amardayatpani Talena Netre Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. What is he singing? He's saying in the first shloka that Mother Yashoda, as she was just doing her churning, right, using the churning rod, she was just remembering and chanting Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. That's all she was doing. Then the second shloka tells us that when Krishna was playing with everyone else, all the gopis, all the gopas, whoever were with Krishna, they would chant Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. That's all they did. And that's why they were very peaceful. So if you are troubled, Prabhus, if you are troubled, Matajis, then chant Krishna's names. Chant Krishna's names. Because if you don't chant Krishna's names in difficult times, your mind will become disturbed. You can test it. Try chanting Krishna's names when you become disturbed. Just chant. Give it some time. Don't be impatient. Just chant for a while. And after 1 minute, after 2 minutes, after 3 minutes, you'll find there is a difference. There is a difference. So Mother Yashoda was very happy despite her endeavor. And Krishna, who was asleep in the next room, he woke up because he wanted to reciprocate with his sincere devotee. So he came out and he stopped her from churning butter. And he indicated to her that he was very hungry and he wanted her to breastfeed him. So Mother Yashoda was very happy and she put him on her lap and she gave him her milk. But while she was giving him milk, Bhagavatam tells us that she had put a pot of milk, on the stove in the kitchen. And that stove was boiling the milk and the milk was about to spill over. Now she heard the sound and she realized now, I have to put Krishna down to take care of the milk. But if I put Krishna down, Krishna will become upset. Why? Because he's not full yet. He's not full yet. And you all know when children are not full, they are quite cranky, And sometimes if you try to feed them, they may not really be ready. But if you feed them, you have to finish it. Otherwise, we have problems. So Mother Yashoda thought that milk is meant for Krishna. I must take a chance. I will do it and hopefully Krishna will be still. So Mother Yashoda left for the kitchen. And was Krishna still? He was not still. Because Krishna was playing the part of a little child. How can a little child be still? Look at our little one here. How can you expect her to be still? It is the nature of a child. If she makes noise, it is not noise for her. It is natural for her. If we are distracted by her, that is our fault. It is not her fault. It is her nature at this level to be like that. But it is our mind that cannot concentrate on Krishna. All because the little girl is just making some noise. So Krishna decided, I'm a little child, isn't it? Should I just lie down like the perfect child? No, I should become angry. So Krishna took a small stone and he broke the pot of butter that Mother Yashoda was so carefully churning. And the moment he broke it, butter came out. Krishna was very happy. Why? Because there was butter. And Krishna was really, really happy with butter. You all know that Krishna was known as the butter thief in Vrindavan, isn't it? He loved butter. In this material world, if someone calls you a thief, you're in trouble. But in spiritual world, Krishna can be thief, but he's not in trouble. Maybe for a while. But even those whom he stole from, they were so happy with him. The gopis would complain. The mothers, they would come to Mother Yashoda and say, Mother Yashoda, again Krishna has stolen butter today. And at that point of time, Mother Yashoda would get upset with Krishna. But even though she was upset with Krishna and she would tell, the elderly gopis, I'm going to punish Krishna today. What would they say? No. We didn't come here for you to punish him. We're just coming here to complain. That's all. Please don't punish Krishna. So even those whom he stole from, they were very happy to be caught by Krishna. That is Krishna's love. That is the difference between God and man. Please don't go out and steal butter from the next shop. You'll be caught. And no one will speak about your leelas. But when Krishna steals butter, everybody is speaking about him. So there is a difference, Prabhus and Matajis, between God and man. If anyone tells you in our Vedic philosophy that you can become God, it's nonsense. No one can become God because God is God. There is no reference in the Shastra that says that you will become God. It is a gross misconception. You will always be you. When we say you become one with God, it means you become aligned with God. Not that you become one with God. When your father tells you, become one with me, my dear son, what he's saying is that follow what I'm saying and align yourself to what I'm saying. Not that you become God. Right? There's a difference. So then, Mother Yashoda was still trying to off the pot of milk. Krishna had taken butter, he was so happy. But then he realized, wait a minute, what have I done? I've just broken a pot of butter that my dear mother was making for who? For me. I'm in trouble. I'm definitely in trouble. So he decided, let me run away. Children normally do that, right? When they do something wrong, they run away. So he ran away. Mother Yashoda comes out, and to her horror, that wonderful scene where she thought Krishna would be lying down was a fantasy. It never happened. Krishna wasn't there, butter was all over the place, and his footprints, which were filled with butter because he stepped over butter, were going into the house, into the inner chambers. Mother Yashoda decided, today is Diwali day. Krishna, I've been getting so much of complaints about Krishna. I think today is the day I must discipline this boy. It's for his good. Don't parents tell us that normally? I don't know how many of you, were told by your parents with a stick, if you don't do this, I'm going to hit you. But it's for your good, isn't it? Of course, at that point, we never believed it. But today, when we look back, we realize, that our parents were kind to us. So Mother Yashoda decided she would take a stick. See this picture? She has a stick here. So she is going to take a stick. She said, I'm going to take a stick and I'm going to get him, but I'm not going to beat him. But a stick is a deterrent, isn't it? If a child sees a stick, they become a bit scared normally. So Mother Yashoda decided, let me do that. So she walked in and she came to this beautiful chamber. This picture is perfect. She came to the beautiful chamber in the house where there were pots and pots of milk and butter. And they were very high up, just like this, so that Krishna could not steal them. He was a real serial thief. That's the problem. Krishna just couldn't stop stealing butter. He loved it. But Mother Yashoda was surprised. Krishna had turned over a mortar so that it was high enough, put it on the highest point near the pillar, stepped on it, and he could just reach. He was tiptoeing. Can you see? You can see his lotus feet here. He's just tiptoeing, and he's taking a stick, and he's breaking the pots of butter, and butter is flowing out. Wonderful, rich butter from Vrindavan Dham, made from the best cows. They were coming out. But Krishna was not eating butter, not just himself, he was eating, but he was feeding his best friends. Who are the best friends of Krishna? The monkeys. You can see them here. The monkeys of Vrindavan were very happy with Krishna. And if you all have children, you realize why, isn't it? Because children are not very far away from their nearest relatives, the monkeys. They behave very much like that. So Krishna and the monkeys were the best of friends. And Mother Yashoda was watching how Krishna was feeding the monkeys, and the monkeys were happily eating. But this pastime of the monkeys eating from Krishna has a very deep meaning. Because this pastime of Krishna happened in Dwapara Yuga. But in Treta Yuga, when Lord came as Lord Ram, these monkeys came as the Vanaras to serve the Lord, to help vanquish Ravana. When Lord Ram conquered Ravana and conquered Lanka, he was so pleased with all these monkeys or Vanaras that he asked them, anything you want, you ask me and I will give it to you. They only asked one thing, Prabhu and Mataji. They asked that somehow or another, when you come back again, my dear Lord, we also want to come back, but we want to come back to serve you again. This is the mood of a devotee. For a devotee, money is not important, car is not important, CPF balance is not important. What is most important is actually service. Because nothing gives more satisfaction in our hearts than serving Krishna. That's all they asked. And if you serve Krishna, does it mean that you will become bankrupt? No. Many devotees here are working full time. Anand Prabhu is working, highly successful. All these devotees are working. But Krishna has never taken away something from us. In fact, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yogakshema mahamyaham. Krishna declares to Arjuna, for those who are exclusively devoted to me, I give them what they lack and I preserve what they have. Which means, whatever that you have, if you give it to Krishna, you will not lose. And whatever that you don't have, because you are serving with Krishna, you will gain. This is the guarantee of Krishna. So therefore, these Vanaras did not ask anything from Krishna. They only asked from Krishna that I be able to serve you. Please, this is the month of Damodar. I request you, when you light the lamps in a few minutes' time, please make this your prayer. Don't ask that I must do well here, I must get a promotion, I must get a good wife, my husband must become better, and this and that. These things will come automatically. Your happiness that you want from the world is coming. But the miseries that come from the happiness are also coming. That you forget. Every material happiness moment has a material misery moment. Do you think that you climb up a hill, you don't come down? Of course you have to come down. Do you think you can fill up a cup forever? The cup must runneth over, as they say in the Catholic faith. It has to fall out. But if you serve Krishna, then whatever that you have, it is never compromised. So please, let that be our prayer. And so Krishna fulfilled that promise. He promised them in Lord Ram's Leela that when I come back again, you will come back with me. And in this pastime, the monkeys came back to Vrindavan, but they were the Vanaras who served the Lord as Ram. And today as Krishna, in this pastime, he made sure that his promise to them was not forgotten. Except for one twist. Instead of them serving Krishna, Krishna served them. Because Krishna is so full of gratitude for his devotees. He never forgot how the Vanaras served him when he was Lord Ram. And that's another important point. Krishna never forgets anything we do for him. Never. We may forget Krishna, but he will never forget us. Just like parents, our children may forget us for some reason. But you know, as parents, you will never forget your children. Never. It is natural in this world. How much more it must be in the spiritual world. So Krishna never forgot that. And he reciprocated because he was bound by the love that the Vanaras had for him. You see the point? The Lord becomes not independent with his devotees because he's bound by their love. Have you been in situations in the material world where a young child binds you with his or her love and you become like a slave to the child? It is not that you don't have power, but because of your love for that person. That is the same in the material world. That's the same in the spiritual world. So Mother Yashoda watched this. But when the monkeys saw Mother Yashoda, they decided, enough for food, we better run. Because Mother Yashoda is here. So what did they do? They scrambled out of the room, leaving Krishna alone. Krishna turned and he saw Mother Yashoda. Seeing his mother was fine, but seeing the stick in her hand was not. And therefore he panicked and he started running. Krishna appeared afraid, Look at him here. He appeared afraid. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. It is stated in Shastras that Yamaraj himself is afraid of Krishna. But here Krishna is afraid of his mother. How is that possible? Demons are afraid of Krishna. Kamsa was afraid of Krishna. Kamsa could not sleep every night because he thought the 8th child of Devaki will kill him. Kamsa would walk, he would take steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The moment he remembered 8, he remembered the 8th child of Devaki and he was afraid. And here Mother Yashoda was just an ordinary lady, but because she had so much love for Krishna, she bound him with her love. And he acted like the perfect child, afraid of his mother. And he ran. And as he ran, Mother Yashoda ran after him. And she thought, like small children, I'll catch him. But every time she tried to catch Krishna, Krishna was further away. The more she went, the further away he went. Until Mother Yashoda thought, this Diwali day is turning out to be a disaster. In the morning I worked so hard for him. Now I'm running after him, I can't catch him. What do I do with Krishna? And because she surrendered to Krishna, because she became helpless before Krishna, Krishna reciprocated. And he agreed to be caught by Mother Yashoda. And when he was caught, he became very fearful of her. Bhagavatam tells us that his mascara, that they put for him, his tears were falling and the mascara was being washed. His earrings were shaking because he was shaking in fear. Have you seen how children sometimes they cry and they shake in fear? Krishna was doing that, just like an ordinary child. When Mother Yashoda saw Krishna was so afraid of her, she put the stick down. Her heart melted. But she felt she must tie him, because if not, he will run again. And so she brought him to the mortar. You can see the mortar here. Krishna is here. She brought him to the mortar, and she took a rope, and she brought it around him, and she was going to tie him, but the rope was 2 fingers short. 2 fingers short. Imagine, 2 fingers short. And so she brought another rope, and she tried to tie him, and again it was 2 fingers short. She brought the rope, more rope, and she tried tying Krishna. And again it was 2 fingers short. How is that possible? It's only possible with Krishna. Because the point for us to remember is, no one can tie Krishna. God is supremely independent. No one can tie him. And that is the message we must know. But then Mother Yashoda is a great devotee of the Lord. And when she surrendered again, that I cannot tie my son, I am helpless, but I need to tie him, because it will help him. Krishna surrendered. When we surrender to Krishna, Krishna surrenders to us. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stataiva vijnanyaham. To the extent that you surrender to Krishna, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, to that extent, I will reciprocate with you. Sometimes you say, why God doesn't listen to me? But are we really putting God in the center of our lives? Normally we are in the disaster mode. When things are really bad, then we are all bhaktas. When things are fine, we have forgotten the urgency of the time. Then we say, Krishna, it's okay. I'll talk to you when I have a bit of time. That is not bhakti. That is barter transaction. That's a transactional relationship. It is not a spiritual relationship. But here, Mother Yashoda's relationship with Krishna was not transactional. It was pure. It was pure. And therefore Krishna agreed to be bound. Shastras tell us that these 2 inches or these 2 fingers, right, the space between the 2 ropes, they represent 2 very important components of bhakti. The first is our endeavor. We must endeavor for Krishna. Today you have all come here because you have endeavored for Krishna. You have fulfilled your part. The second finger is his part to fulfill. It is his mercy. Mercy is attracted by sincere endeavor. That is the formula for successful devotional service. If you endeavor sincerely for Krishna, if you endeavor without material motives for Krishna, Krishna's mercy will be fully descending on you. Krishna's mercy is on everyone. Don't get me wrong. Like rain falls across the land, his mercy is on everyone. But some land is barren. Some land is fertile. Is it the fault of the rain in a barren soil that nothing can grow? It is the fault of the soil. But if soil that is fertile will reap all the goodness of rain. See the difference? So mercy is there, but endeavor is our duty. And so Mother Yashoda bound Krishna, not with the ropes, but with her love, her sincerity, her dedication, her surrender, and her lack of motivation. That is the rope that bound Krishna. Now Mother Yashoda goes for her Diwali duties. Krishna cannot be bound for long. He decides that now Mother Yashoda is very happy, but I have one more thing to fulfill in this Leela. And he starts crawling. As he starts crawling, the motor which was vertical turns and it becomes horizontal. It rolls with Krishna. As Krishna moves, what does he do? He goes to the end of the garden and he goes towards two very large trees in Vrindavan known as Yamal Arjuna trees. And he goes in between them, but the motor becomes stuck. And he pushes a little bit because he's Krishna, and the trees come falling down. They come falling down with a crash. And what happens is, just where the trees have fallen, Bhagavatam tells us two beautiful devatas, they come out. They come out. And the devatas bow before Krishna. And Krishna looks at them and he asks this very important question. Who are you? I don't know anything about you. Why are you in my courtyard? And how come you were trees? And they say, Dear Krishna, we have been waiting for thousands of years for you. And finally you have come to deliver us. Our names are Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. And we are the two sons of Kuver, the superintendent of wealth. So many years ago, thousands of years ago, we were just enjoying ourselves and wasting our time intoxicated. We were just enjoying ourselves and forgetting the purpose of life until one day, when we were sporting in a lake, Narada came by. We came out without any clothes on and stood before Narada in such a poor state of consciousness. When Narada saw us that way, he became very compassionate to us and he cursed us. When sadhus curse you, they are being compassionate. And listen why. Because Narada then told them, better you two become trees. Don't remain as men. Because you don't like to put on clothes. And trees have no clothes. So better you become trees. They became scared. And they said, Narada, you are a great devotee. Please don't do this for us. Help us elevate our consciousness. And Narada said, my prayer is that somehow or another, though you become trees, I pray that one day Krishna will deliver you. And that prayer of Narada was thousands of years ago. But Krishna never forgets the prayer of a devotee, especially a pure devotee. Why? Narada did not pray for himself. He prayed for someone else. When you pray for the welfare of others, your prayer is even greater and more precious to Krishna. And those who pray for others, Krishna naturally protects you. Because your heart is so big and you pray for the development of others. So Krishna became bound by Narada's prayer. He became bound by Mother Yashoda's love. He became bound as Lord Ram by the Vanara's love for him and their service. And now at the end of the Leela, he becomes bound by the love and prayer of Narada. So he says something very nice. Devarishi me prayatamo yad imao danudatmajao tattatha shashtayishyam yad gitam tan mahatmanaha. In the 10th canto, this is what Krishna says. He says, my dear boys, frankly speaking, you two are very young men, and I have nothing to do with you actually. Nothing to do with you. But because my dear and most affectionate devotee Narada had prayed so hard, and he prayed so hard for you, I am today bound to serve you on account of his devotion. And thus ends the Leela. Because when Krishna appeared before Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they went back to the spiritual abode. They became self-realized. And this is the pastime that we remember every day for 30 days in Kartik Mass. It's such a beautiful pastime because it has so much meaning. When you hear the pastime, it doesn't sound, like just something which is a fairy tale. How much depth of understanding our relationship with Krishna is found in this pastime. So this pastime tells us two very important things. that Krishna is independent, but he is bound by the love of his devotee. The second thing this pastime tells us is that everyone has the capacity to serve Krishna. You may be a monkey, you may be a very, very elevated personality, you can be two intoxicated boys who didn't even know what was the purpose of life, but everyone has capacity to serve Krishna. Bhakti has no barriers. Bhakti doesn't look to gender, to caste, to creed. There is no qualification which is material that is needed to take up bhakti. All that is needed to take up bhakti is sincerity and simplicity. These two S's. Nothing else. So just go back with these two. Be sincere to Krishna and be simple in your life so that Krishna becomes your center. If you complicate your life, very hard to put Krishna in the center. But if you simplify your life, you can put Krishna in the center. Mother Yashoda simplified her existence, and that's why she could put Krishna in the center. Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Mother Yashoda ki, Jai Sri Damodara ki, Ananta Gauri Vaishnavinda ki, Nitai Gaura Prema. Now we are going to chant this most wonderful Damodar Ashtakam. It is going to be put up here. So whatever that we have spoken today is actually found in this beautiful prayer. And in this prayer today, which you all are going to sing, it is talking about the greatness of Krishna's Leela. My humble request to you is, each one of you will come forward. And you can all come forward after this. And the ladies and the children can come forward. They can come forward after this. And I think what will happen is you will get to do some achaman. Achaman means, some water will be put on your palm. Don't drink it. It's meant for purification. You just, you're purifying yourself. Then you take the ghee lamp and you come before Damodara and you offer it to him. You can offer it to him. You can do 7 rounds around him. And when you do that, remember your prayer. Don't pray for anything material. It's going to come anyway. Rather, use it. Use it to pray for bhakti. That is so much more important. So are we ready to sing? And once Mataji begins, once we start singing, you all ladies, you can stand up, you can come forward. Mataji, you can lead, and then everybody can do it. Then the men can also do it. Right? Thank you so much. But it doesn't stop today. Till the 8th of November, go home. Take these ghee lamps. Do the same thing we did today. Take a nice picture of Krishna in this position. You can get it. Put it there. And just offer lamps every day to him. Get your family to do it. It is stated that when you offer lamps to Krishna in this month, full spiritual welfare and benediction is given. All sinful activities are thrown out actually. That is the greatness of Damodar. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki. Sorry, Mataji, is that okay? Oh, I don't think it's safe, I think we take this out. We don't need it. Namamishwaram Satchidanandrupam Lasakundalam Gokule Vrajamanam. Your turn. Namamishwaram Satchidanandrupam Lasakundalam Gokule Vrajamanam अहमीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपम् रसकुन्दलं गोकुले व्रजमानम् यशोदाभियोलु कलार्धवमानम् कलामृष्टमाद्यं तत्रो धृत्य गोप्या रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रः युपमृजन्तम् कराम्बुजयुग्मे न सातङ्कनेत्रम् हरि बोल मुहुश्वासकम्पा त्रिरेखाककम्पा स्थितग्रैवं दामोदरं भक्तिभारम् इति त्रिस्वहीलाभिः आनन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषं निवाजन् तमख्यापयन्तम् हरि हरि तदीशिकानेषु भक्तैजितात्मम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सखा वृत्तिवन्दे परं देवः मोक्षं न मोक्षवदेवा न चान्यं मृदेहं वरिष्ठादपीह जय दामोदर जी की इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्या विरस्तां किमन्ये जय बालक गोपाल जी इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् अद्यन्तनीलै कृतं कुन्तलैस्ते दरतैश्च गोप्या मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरतादरं मे मनस्याविरास्तम् अलं लक्षणावे जय दामोदर जी की नमो देवः दामोदर अनंत विष्णु प्रसीदा प्रभो दुःख जलाब्धिमात्रम् दृष्टि दृश्याति दिनं वदानो ग्रहाणे क्षमामज्ञवेदाक्षि दृशया त्वया मोचितां भक्ति भजां कृतं च हरि बोल। तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वकं मे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मे दामोदरे जय प्रेम भक्ति की। तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वकं मे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मे दामोदरे नमस्तेस्तु धाम्नेस्तु प्रदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय तविश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् जय श्रीमती राधा रानी की। नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्। जय श्री हरिनाम। नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Can't hear you. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jaya Yashoda Damodara, Yashoda Damodara, Yashoda Damodara, Yashoda Damodara. Jaya Yashoda Damodara ki. Jaya Vrindavana Dham, Vrindavana Dham, Vrindavana Dham, Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Vrindavana Dham ki. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Shri Yashoda Damodar Ji ki Jai Shri Shri Giri Govardhan ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Bhumi Dham ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subramani ki Jai Shri La Prabhupada ki Jai Shri La Gurudeva ki Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaura Premanand.
His Grace Devinanda Prabhu Ji ki
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Advaita Prabhu, thank you so much. Achincha Janani Mataji, thank you. Archana Mataji, thank you. Thank you to all the devotees. So nice to see everyone here. I hope you had a wonderful evening remembering the pastimes of the Lord. And I hope you take these pastimes back with you. Keep them in your heart and offer a lamp every day, right, for the rest of Kartik Mass. Prasadam feast is going to be served downstairs, and we request all of you to honor Prasadam. Not eat Prasadam. Honor, because it is now coming from Krishna. And there is a beautiful book table behind. All that I've spoken is not coming from the air, it is coming from Shastra. So take a book, read it, study it, and you will become so blissful. Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you a very happy Diwali. If any one of you want programs in your houses, we have till the 8th of November for the Kartik Mass. But it doesn't end there. You can always have a house program after Kartik Mass also. right? Come and see Advaita Prabhu, come and see the other devotees. We'll be happy to arrange something with you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, folks.
Now can do Now can do China.